Docker, images, containers. All that to run an HTTP server. Seems complicated, doesn't it? In a previous video, we've installed Docker. Today you will start playing with a couple of containers in order to gain a better understanding of the concepts behind Docker. And for that, we will see how to run an Apache HTTP web server from a container. The first step is to search if we can find a readily available image for the software we need. By searching on the Docker hub, I found that official image we can download using the docker perl command. At this point you have the Docker image for the Apache HTTP server on your system. But an image is just a blueprint. To run the Apache server you have to create a container from that image. And as a matter of fact, you can create as many containers as you want from the same image. Let's now start a couple of them. Even if they were created from the same image, the two containers are now independent entities. For example, let's see what happens if I create a new file in one of them. As you can see, the file only exists in the container it was created. And obviously I can create a file with the same name in the second container that will not interfere in any way with the other one. Okay, using the bash is nice, but we've installed HTTP servers, so it would be better if you could access those files using your web browser. For that we need the IP address of the containers. Provided the necessary tools are available, you can query the IP address directly from the container, just like if it was a real computer. But as a more generic solution, I prefer using the docker inspect command to obtain that piece of information. By the way, you can notice the two containers have different IP addresses, as well as two different MAC addresses, confirming they are seen as two different hosts. And since we have now the container's IP addresses, and since Docker has taken care for you of the low-level networking details, you can directly access those servers from your web browser. To continue that rapid tour of the basic Docker commands, let's see how you can stop one of those containers. Now the container is stopped. That means the corresponding web server is stopped. And we can check it is no longer accessible. Finally, when you no longer need a container, you can remove it. But beware, the data stored in that container will be lost. As we've seen, you can start and stop a container in a matter of seconds. This is a great strength of that technology. I encourage you to practice a little bit with containers based on the Apache HTTP Docker image. For example, you can try to create several containers and then modify the index.html file of each of them to see what happens when you load the corresponding pages in your web browser. And once you'll be more comfortable with the basic Docker commands, it will be time for you to take my challenge. We used the Apache HTTP web server in this video. But this is not the only HTTP server available out there. Lite is another popular choice. So, I would like you to start a Lite container and perform the necessary changes so we can see that when your web browser is pointed to the container IP address. As of myself, I'm really looking forward to reading your solution in the comment section below.